Welcome back, viewers. You are still tuned into Prime Live, and today we are absolutely honored to speak with Tiny Taukobong, who is a dynamic leader who has a multifaceted career that spans over environmental activism, media, and philanthropy. Now, as a passionate advocate for sustainability, Tiny has led numerous initiatives to combat climate change, empower communities, and promote environmental education. Now, beyond her work in activism, she is a respected news anchor, linguist, and philanthropist, and has contributed greatly to the community development. I'm thrilled to be able to have a conversation with her this evening. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Prime Live this evening.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today.
I mean, from one tree hugger to another, I'm absolutely incredibly passionate about advocating for environment, always have been. So I'm super excited to be able to sit down with a fellow tree hugger this evening. When it comes to, environmental activism, what inspired you to delve into this space?
Okay. Like I said, thank you so much for having me today. So basically, I come from a township which is in Mabopane. So sitting back at home and looking at what's happening in and around Mabopane, which is an underserviced area. So I looked at the underserviced issues that are affecting us, and then I thought of more of a way of communicating and engaging the audience, which is the youth, of how is it that we can preserve and conserve the environment. And that's what led me to be an activist of the environment. So I am a steward of the environment.
I love that, and I love that you tied in the experience of the community, because a lot of the time, from my experience, when you go out and advocate for the environment, a lot of people, the first thing they say is, there are so many social issues across South Africa, why environment? And that's where I come in and I say there can be no people without planet. And a lot of the social issues that our smaller rural communities and areas in South Africa struggle from are connected to environmental issues, absolutely. So I love that you've brought that up, and that's what drew you to the environmental space as well. But something that you do, which I absolutely love, is you focus a lot on community, on education and community development within your activism. Fighting against climate change has a lot to do with changing mindsets and changing perspectives. Can you take us through some of the community development projects and initiatives that you have going on at the moment?
Okay. I am proud to say, as I come from Mabopane, which is in Pretoria, the far north of Pretoria, we've also decided to collaborate with this municipality, which is the city of Tshwane, because I believe that alone I can go far, but alone I can go fast, but together we can go far. So we said to the municipality, how about we collaborate? Because I am a big fan of collaborations, because there's a lot that I can learn from you, there's a lot that you can learn from me, vice versa. So we then approached the city of Tshwane and other departments who are passionate about the environment to say, can we do cleanup campaigns? Can we also do, awarenesses at schools? Because I believe that it starts with the generation, and they are the ones that are going to be faced with this dilemma or the predicament that we are sitting at right now, where with regards to the climate changes and food insecurity, so you name them. So then we approach them to say, how about we start with cleanup campaigns and we educate the people, ask the relevant questions like your consultancy. Do even people know, how do they view waste and multiple streams of waste and the proximity? Do they even know where the landfills are? So I took down that route and to say, let us get each and everybody involved, because I believe together we must play our part.
Absolutely. I think each and every single individual is responsible for keeping the planet clean. And when it comes to waste management, it is a huge issue in South Africa. And we are lucky enough to have, our informal waste pickers who are doing a great job in terms of making sure our recyclables are getting recycled. But when it comes to waste management, I think a lot of people don't understand the implications of that waste that you are making in your home on a daily basis. And for me, environmental activism starts at home, and it starts with education. And it starts with making lifestyle choices that are kinder to the environment. And you find it's cheaper on your pocket, it's it's better for your family, and it has less health effects on you using these chemical-based plastics are very, very bad for you. And a lot of people think about, okay, but why should I care about environment? It doesn't have anything to do with me. But that's where I always find that, there can be no people without planet. And what are we leaving for the future generations if we're leaving our planet full of plastics and filling our landfill? So waste management is a huge issue, and I know there was a lot of campaigns around South Africa to try to teach people to separate their waste at source. And what is the purpose of separating your waste at source? Trying to you use your renewable goods at home to make compost, and it's amazing what you can do in your own home and the larger impact it makes in the world. So it starts with those little things that you do in your day-to-day life. But beyond waste management, we have a unique opportunity to really educate people who are watching us right now. What are some of the biggest environmental factors or environmental issues you would like them to highlight, or you would like to highlight to them rather this evening?
Okay. I would like to say to the audience and most of us to say, let us get involved. Never be weary to learn more about environment, because I believe it is in these very initiatives that we get to learn that even our forefathers, as this is Heritage Month, they've used those indigenous trees. So what more of a better way to celebrate this? And we should not only advocate for the environment only on this important days or significant days, but we should add it to our day-to-day lives, whereby we should just, educate people to say, if this is the waste that we are generating, because you are very right, we are the people that are generating this different types of waste. So if we can go out and say, okay, because there are more even job opportunities that need to be known about this waste. There is money in waste. So the way you view waste, I think it's the most important aspect there. So I would like for people to, we could get around and have conversations, because I believe, if we throw waste in one bin, say for instance your organic waste, your food waste and everything, you have your renewables, your recyclables. So we are talking upcycling, we're talking recycling. So now we thought, okay, fine, let's get around, let's group around and have these discussions whereby we talk about segregating waste, other methods that we can also do. And the other thing I think we should, put on the table is to say, in our townships where it is, underserviced places, what is it that we can do? Because remember, I told you about playing our part in, unserviced areas. So what we can do, or rather what business people can do, or conversations that we can have, is that business people should also play a part as well. We can either do it by, having rebate centers, having environmental hubs. So we need to look at waste in a very different way, because say for instance, your food waste, if it's mixed with other recyclables, it can really harm you. It can cause you, a hazardous condition. It can pollute the air, because I believe when that is mixed, then it releases a certain gas which is called methane, which can be very hazardous to people, and more particularly people with, heart and lung conditions. So I think we as people, and God has granted us this planet Earth, and we don't own the planet Earth, but we belong to planet Earth. And I believe in a saying that goes, cleanliness is next to godliness. So it is a personal thing, whether you would like to be clean or not, but it is a personal thing. So I think we should be gathering around to say, how is it best that we can help the municipality? And that's where I keep on stressing awareness, and let's play our part.
I love that. I absolutely love that. What you've shared just now is so incredibly powerful. And it reminds me of something I heard from an international delegate I once had the opportunity to meet. She said that waste is a wasted resource. Yes. And like you said, there's so much of opportunity. There's money in waste. There's opportunity in waste. And the fact that we can now bring this education to impoverished communities, we can empower them with it. And I love what you said about how these bigger corporations and corporates have a responsibility to play their part and give back. Setting up a food garden in an impoverished area, you're empowering those people with skills. You're empowering them with the ability to feed themselves and their families. And then teaching them also, okay, whatever leftovers you have, you can then resell them. So you're empowering these people, yes, through an environmental way, but you're solving a social issue at the exact same time. And that's why people and planet will always be interconnected. So I love what you've shared. That was incredibly powerful. And I think I wish more people would understand how easy it is to start being kinder to the environment. It is absolutely all of our problems. The fact that climate change is we're already there. We are already there. People say climate change is coming, climate change is coming. We are already there. We are seeing the detrimental effects from the amount of natural disasters that are happening all around the world. The changing temperatures, the ocean temperatures are rising. We're seeing species depletion. We're seeing all of these things happening right in front of our eyes, and it's each and every single one of our responsibilities to do something about it. Okay. Now, when it comes to climate change, it sounds like a very complicated word. It's this big word, and a lot of people are hearing about it all the time, and it's difficult to be able to sometimes, communicate what climate change is and what the implications are. Now, when you go to your community development projects and when you go to these incredible initiatives where you go and you educate people, and I think this is also a unique opportunity for our viewers and our listeners this evening to be able to get that piece of wisdom from you. How do you describe climate change and the implications of climate change to the everyday South African that you have the opportunity to meet?
Okay, and I would like to say this. With the poor air that is been caused by this methane that gets to be that gets to pollute the air, I believe that everybody deserves to live in a very healthy environment where they can work, where they can bring up their families. So climate change is definitely us, not taking care of the environment. After all, it is our mother nature. And hence, I've just decided, to just reach out to as many people and as many audience. If I need to also highlight, I've taken up an opportunity to just, delve into this opportunity of being the Miss Township South Africa, which is a very, very exciting journey for me. So I thought to take up that as well, because I believe that I would reach many audience and different types of audiences to say, let us root up for our environment, because I believe we cannot be anywhere else than here on Earth, which is our planet Earth. So I would say we are the causes of the climate change, and we need to take it upon ourselves to change, to unlearn certain things and learn other ways whereby we can preserve our own environment, and which is the planet, which is planet Earth.
I think what you've shared there is so powerful. You talked about unlearning our bad habits, and it's very easy to do that. I mean, it takes 21 days to create a new habit and break an old one. And like we were talking about earlier, it's so easy to start with the small things and then move on to the bigger things, whether that be choosing products that are packaged in environmentally friendly packaging. Then you can move on to more complicated things like separating your waste at source, maybe starting a little compost pot in your garden for your organic waste, like your offcuts from your vegetables and your fruits. You can slowly move in that direction. And I think the best thing people can do when it comes to environmental education is instill a love, respect and appreciation for the environment in young children. I think young children are absolutely the future of our country, and if you instill a love for environment for them, they will live their lives in that way, and you create this generational effect of young people who care for the environment and are conscious about what they're doing. And I think that's our problem. We're so unconscious about the things that we do. Yes. We just take everything from the environment and we take it all for granted, but we don't actually think about what are the implications of me dropping that paper on the floor? What is the implications of me using so much of plastic in my house and not trying to reuse it if I absolutely can? So we've got to live with this more conscious mindset, and I must applaud you also for your involvement with the Miss Township organization. I think that's a wonderful feat, and we really congratulate you on that as well. But some something that you're incredibly multifaceted. You're also a linguist. And I think your ability to be able to communicate with people in different languages also makes education and empowerment and awareness much easier. Talk to us about, how your skill with being a linguist has really helped you reach people in South Africa.
First and foremost, I want to say I am proudly South African, and I think one of the things that I would say, I'm a linguist, that's what makes me proudly South African, because we've got how many languages? I think 12, if I'm not mistaken. So that makes me very proudly South African. So it makes it very easy for me, because I think you can reach out to each and every person in South Africa, and you can learn to interact from a more personal level when you communicate with a certain tribe or group of people, when you communicate to them in their own mother tongue as well.
I think it's a beautiful thing to be able to find connection with people by speaking to them in a language they love and understand. So I really love that you've brought that. And you know what? I'm so inspired by, seeing young women like yourself coming into these spaces, raising your voices, and not just raising your voice, but also creating some much needed sense of awareness. So I really applaud you and commend you for your efforts in making the world a greener place and educating one green mind at a time. I think the more people we make aware regarding, the importance of taking care of the planet, absolutely the better. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I mean, this has been such an incredible conversation, and I wish you all the best in your journey. And we look forward to, seeing some of the environmental projects and initiatives that we will be going ahead with.
Definitely. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for affording me the platform to be here and to be speaking, to the youth, to the women, because I believe we need to take up space. We need to restore and cement, leadership spaces. Thank you so much.
No, it's been such a pleasure. I mean, it's absolutely amazing to see individuals like this who are doing absolutely amazing things. It is all our responsibility to take care of the environment. So start small and start doing something in your home today, because it's absolutely all our job to take care of the planet.